Hey guys, it's another upload here from this dude. um, so, yeah, recently, um, God has had me very aware of the coming 3 days of darkness, and let me line up the camera here. There we go. Um, it was a dream that I didn't understand that has been become understandable in the last couple days after him explaining to me that it's related to the 3 days of darkness. And there's a link to a video in the description that you absolutely have to watch if you've watched this. That's the entire point, is that I'm trying to get you to watch the other video, and you should hear what he says and take it to the Lord like I did, and see what happens. For me, it was I tried to verify. I asked God, "Hey, is this really for reals?" And He said, "Yeah." And the angel that is with me and lets me know, often by creating a tone in my right ear, and at the same time when that happens, he seeds a thought into my mind, and those two together is his way of sort of verifying what's going on. And sometimes he's like, "Yeah, this is for reals," or he doesn't know, or something like that. And I got thumbs up on all signals on this one. And again, um, I don't want to. I don't know nothing about date setting because I don't know how to decode anything in the Bible. I just watch other videos of people that have and stuff like that, and I don't think this one is kind of straightforward because for one, I don't think there's any, like, I don't know. I think when usually it's his quote prophets that get visions and whatnot, and when Dana Cornerstone in 2020 started getting his things, I was following, of course. I think everybody was following and really paying attention. And then based on that South African singer dude who had passed away, who had also seen all these things where, like, this American president, Trump or whatever, was going to become like some big savior. And at that time, I didn't know better. And I was on board with that idea too. But since then, and this is going to sound crazy, but since then, even as we were all waiting for this Dana Cornerstone thing or Coverstone to unravel and happen, I was waiting for it as well. I thought, hey, there's all these guys getting all these visions, and they seem to have legit and clout, and they've been doing it for a while. And then after January, not long after that, God did show me, and again, this is going to sound bizarre, but God showed me that Trump, along with many other presidents, are like Nephilim, like they're demons, yo. But then again, it doesn't surprise me, because what I saw is that big wigs everywhere, and this thing, the Italy thing. If you've seen my Italy video, I saw that. I saw big wigs pretty much everywhere. The very few of them are gonna be totally human, because I don't know. But anyways, take that to the Lord as well. And for a lot of you, it's probably gonna. I would never have believed this. I can't believe I'm saying this kind of stuff a few years ago. If I went back in time and talked to me a few years ago, I would have probably seen myself get depressed, because that old Eric would have said, whatever you've done, like, stop,, because it's ruined you. But anyways, so I got this dream. Back to the dream. the original dream and how it pertains to the three. Oh yeah, and by the way, so what? As I'm saying, this new wave of I God observed my reaction during the Coverstone times, but I never took it to the Lord in the same way that I do now. I just kept it all out here. I looked, I thought about it in my head, but I never took it in prayer and digested it and tried to get it verified from the Lord. That's something I learned how to do reasonably late, not that long ago, to verify. And it's not the discernment, it's not a gut feeling discernment, it's a little bit beyond that. Your gut feeling discernment might be on, but it's not discernment, it's not skepticism, it's literally taking it to the Lord in prayer and getting it verified. And then this is why I think fasting and praying is so important, because it's the only way to actually get all signals and antennas pointing in the right way. But anyways, so this time it's a different, I think that for me, I was afraid that it was like a cry wolf kind of thing, where like the Dana Cornerstone would happen and people probably like phased out from all these date setters and all these claims, and then virtually like a whole army of people trying really hard just to point out that like 2% of what they said actually happened, and then to somehow like deny the fact that it hasn't happened. It's like believing a lie, and the Bible says if prophets and people claim to have seen, then okay, fine, listen. And if they don't come to pass, then you don't need to fear these people anymore. But he never said to try to like excuse it and make it sound like, flip your brain around to make it sound like what they said was legit. I mean, I believe it's a form of wolf in sheep's clothing. And those same prophets themselves, and I'll do the same. If I'm like wrong, then I'll shut up, man. That's it. Then you can dismiss half of my videos, gladly. I have no problems with that. I have no ego attachment to that. I'm just literally going out and doing what the Spirit is telling me to do. Often I'll ask and say, is there something that you would want me to do today? Because I proactively try to be of service. But anyways, so this time it was definitely a different level. It's different, and I'll come around to telling you how it all sort of comes together. So nobody in my family is on board with what I'm saying. My parents are not Christian at all. When I talk about that kind of stuff, they get pretty, they get offended. They don't want me to say nothing. And it never had the same effect when it was like Buddhism or whatever like that, when I was talking about meditation. But somehow Christianity rubs everybody the wrong way. I think the demons get super active and try to get people to just get more tender and sensitive. And so in our household, when there's talk of like 144K, even having dreams and visions or anything like that, you haven't even made it that far, people are going to shut you down, and there is no such thing as preparing for the 3 days of darkness. There's no such, we got some food stores. We live, luckily, my dad's been very successful and managed to have a very nice house and always stocked up in, more than enough, plenty. And my mom is very good at keeping the house too. And right now, for the holidays, we're down in my parents' place and kind of staying in the basement. And there too, again, not because of any type of COVID prepping or anything like that, because around here there's never been any shortages, even during COVID. This country here has been quite lucky, actually, in terms of food supply. And there's actually plenty of food, and it's not because I went and said, hey, we need to stock up, we need to start prepping or anything like that. It's because total how can you say, it just happened because I think God was helping us prepare, me prepare. And I prayed and I said, hey, God, if this is going to come real, real soon, you said, let there not be enough time for the man that's on the roof to run back to his house. Let the farmer not have enough time to put on his jacket or whatever, right? Like, it's going to be abrupt. It's going to be quick. You're not going to be able to run down to the store and get yourself an extra stash of cans, you know? So I said, God, do we have enough? And he said, run through the checklist. Check if you got candles. So I asked my sister, I said, hey, do we have candles down here? Because the basement, you can't exit the basement apartment without going outside and into the main house by going outside first. She's like, no, we don't have that much. We just have a couple. So I ran to the store and I got more. And that was a few days ago. So I checked with the Spirit all these things. And he said, you know, go. And the food, okay, that was fine because my sister had been stocking up because, you know, my mom's quite ill, so she's been cooking for her for weeks now. And it just happens to be that she's always got plenty of food, even in the basement apartment. And that is kind of a total coincidence. I think God managed to massage that in to help me out. And then I said, what about the curtains to cover up the windows? He's like, nah, this is fine, you know. And I ran through the whole thing. And I said, God, after watching that video that you see in the description, I said, is this for real? Is this really going to happen? Because it sounds pretty legit. And he said, can't you sense that something's different this time? And I said, yeah. And then I said, how do I prepare my wife? How do I tell her? And he said, just tell her that you know something's coming. And when that time is coming, then you can tell her, now you got to listen to me. And now you know everything that I said is for reals. I said, wow, that's pretty smart. Thanks, you know. And the same thing, I even asked, like, the other guy that I know is 144K here in the city that I doubt has believed when I told him that, because God showed me and he said, tell him. He won't know. He probably doesn't know about this thing. He's a normal Sunday preacher dude, you know, like he runs his ministry and that's about it. I don't think he's too into all these extra doomsday preppers online, you know. So I said, what about him? He said, send him the email and ask him, just seed the idea in advance, and then when it happens, he'll know what's going on. Wow, great. Okay, so I did that. There was 3 things I had to do. It was that, and then go to the store and get candles, tell my wife, and send that email to the other 144 guy. And then, by the way, check this out. When I went to the store and I had my wife that day, I think it was like Tuesday earlier, I was like, I was pretty on point, like jittery, like a little bit excited. And I went to the store and we found these big old candles that are like 24 hours and stuff. And I was like trying to calculate how many of these we needed, you know, plus we probably needed a couple of them because somebody might want to go to the toilet or whatever. And then I said, what about matches? You know, I was telling my wife, like, hey, you know, just understand, I didn't want to scare her. I don't want to make her, you know, although she has also seen that some weird things definitely are, but, you know, she tries to compartmentalize it. She tries to throw it away as if it, you know, as if it's not really part of her reality. God bless her, you know, gee, I mean, wouldn't you? And then when I was at the store, like I said, I've been shadowed by coven witches here for a while, and for some reason locally, they're super adept at a form of telepathy, right? And of course they're consulting demons. This isn't a human ability, but that's just been a thing that I've seen people here are pretty darn good at. And like I said, I made a video before where these weirdos, these little girls, was coming up to me and was like, we can hear what's in your head. Okay. So I'm at the store, and somehow when they shadow me, they know when I'm back in this town. They know when I leave the other town, because once you're shadowed, they're gonna always follow you, you know? That's what I noticed even in the other place, which is a 10-hour drive from here. They know when I'm driving into town, you know? They got everything covered, man. And so when I was down here and I went to the store, suddenly people are picking up on, yo, why is this guy buying candles? You know, like not this guy, just not normal pedestrians, but these coven. And then I saw the one of these a person came over, a lady, and she's like, maybe we should get some candles. Maybe we should get some candles. And then she's trying to get, you know, brain telecom with me. And she's like, is this for real? Is what you're trying to like prep for? And I said, yeah. And then you hear all these other people, because it's almost like a open teleconference thing. They're like, oh, it's not for reals. You know, we've seen these guys trip out from these things before. It's not going to happen. And it's all mental. And I said, no. This time God had me go about it differently. And they're like, what do we need? And then I said, you need candles for 3 days, because basically the power is going to go out. And then they sensed that I was like for reals, and I was just like, yo guys, shut up, leave me alone. I'm buying these things and I'm just here for my stuff, and leave me alone. And they're like, oh, it's not gonna happen, blah blah. And then the same lady comes over. She seems like she's buying what I'm saying, because she's, you know, probably not convinced that everybody that's skeptic is actually that smart. And then they're kind of tuning in when I'm telling my wife what's going on. And then I got my candles and I see them and I just try to avoid them. I don't like to do anything with them. Like, I don't want to be around them, because I know they're into all kinds of filth, you know. And so then I'm about to leave with my candles, and then the same girl kind of like runs up, and she tries to get my mental attention again. She's like, hey, is there anything else we need? Is there anything else you can tell us? And I said, it's going to last 3 days. It looks like it's going to start Sunday. It's going to rise by Wednesday. It's going to end by Wednesday. You need food. You need enough canned food. You need the candles. And then I said, cover the windows. Don't open them up. And if you look outside, well, by when it's all happening, you'll know exactly what's going on, because it's demonic in nature. Basically, everyone in the world will know that the supernatural is right here, and there is something like a God, and the veil of perception will be completely ripped. And after that, expect pandemonium, maybe barbarism, right? A certain type of meltdown. And henceforth you can see how we roll into the so-called the nasty days. People are gonna be tripping, man. They're gonna be tripping. And they're gonna want normalcy immediately. And they're gonna want to see their sitcoms on TV right away. They want to get that opium. They want to get the pacifier that tells them everything's under control. And they're gonna say, okay, COVID vaccine. They're like, yeah, give me some normality. I'll jab me up. And it's gonna be completely bonkers. It's gonna be bonker days, man. People are gonna be so shell-shocked. And anyways, so check out the video, because it's happening. Most likely it's gonna start on Sunday. That's what God had me prepare for. And here's my dream that I didn't understand before, until I knew that it pertained to the 3 days of darkness, after I watched these videos, and after I read the Bible passages that God wanted me to read that were referenced in these videos. And as I was reading and studying, he said, hey, remember that dream that you've been wondering about? And I'll even tell you how there's like little hints inside the dream based on conversations I would have with my dad these days. So in this dream, I'm walking around outside. Suddenly I just find myself walking around in the neighborhood, and there's all these it's like these, I just start paying attention to like these augmented reality 3D objects, like virtual reality objects flying around outside. And it's coming from an old video game I used to play a lot called StarCraft. And I see a Protoss probe gathering some minerals, just like on a soccer field. And I'm like, whoa, now they got virtual reality goggles, so you can like see games being played in real time outside. You don't even need a PC screen. You can play like a game outside, like a video, like soccer field. And I was like, well, that's crazy. And then I start walking around. I start wandering. And then everything turns black, man. It's dark. The sun goes down. And the mood gets super airy. Super, super scary. And then, like, I see weird stuff around me. Like, there's like these giant robot demons and stuff coming out of houses. And I see like these patrols, like almost like military patrols on the roads. And I'm wondering, man, this whole thing now is just like scary as all, you know, like it's scary. Super airy. The darkness is sort of like artificial. It's not even night, it's just artificial darkness. And then all these people around me, man, like they're just wandering around, and then I'm wandering too. And every time I bump into them, they look at me and they smile, and they're like, and they look like they're really like, and then the more people I bump into, they just start looking. They turn around and look at you like, and then they walk towards me, and they got these daggers, and I can't do anything. They're just coming towards me, and then they start clawing these daggers into my stomach. And at that moment, I'm just like, God, you know, I'm screaming to God, boom, and I can feel their knives in my stomach, goring me open. And then I'm like, oh no, did they catch me? Did they catch me? And then at that moment, boom, I wake up, and I knew that was another crazy like vision dream. And I didn't know what the heck that was. Was that just God warning me that all these people that have been shadowing me all this time, sooner or later they're just gonna come in and just like murder me or something like that? Because again, I figured it's become clear when they want you off, you're nothing but a speck on a screen. Nobody, they can make you disappear, yo. You know? I said, God, am I gonna? And the thing is, I didn't feel a lot of pain. I just felt this happening, and then God took me away. So I thought, is this God saying this is gonna happen to me? But Eric, don't worry. Before it gets really bad, I'll just take you away. I was like, oh man, is God not gonna just like physically protect me anymore? Like, is he allowing the dominoes to fall on me now? And then and I kept wondering, I kept kind of praying about it. I said, God, if that's what's happening, just give me, you know, brave, make me brave. And then when I came down here a few days ago for this Easter break, a few days later I saw that upload that is in the description, so you gotta watch that. And as I'm watching that, I said, whoa, no way. Like, I know Shauna's been talking about 3 Days of Darkness. You've showed me some darkness coming. And you've kind of hinted a lot at this. It's sort of like all coming together. So then I was like, yo, like, is this for reals? And he's like, yeah, it's for reals. And then I said, is that why I had that dream where I'm walking outside and I get gored? Like, don't go outside when it's dark, you know? And he's like, yeah, like, yeah. And then a few days later, again, like 1 day later, 2 days, well, I haven't been here that long. So like a day later, I'm talking to my dad. It was actually yesterday. And as we were talking, my dad's a total tech guy, you know, like kind of like nerdy. We're all a bunch of geeks actually. And then he's like working on he likes to program as a hobby, like write some code, SQL. So then I was like, or SQL, but and then I was like, hey Dad, did you see that stuff? Because I got a little niece that's 10 years old, and she's always running around with all these new toys and stuff. I was like, Dad, did you see this Ray Kurzweil talk about like the future of technology? Because you know that's the kind of stuff he likes talking about. So I said, you know, pretty soon we'll be running around with augmented reality, and we'll be playing video games interlaced with our everyday reality. And then, boom, there was the dream where I saw the beginning of my dream was exactly that which I was starting to talk about with my dad. And I was like, yeah, there we have it, you know, there we have it. And yeah, and that's why I'm making this video. Holy Spirit, please tell me if there's anything more I should cover. Yeah, guys, take it to the Lord. take it to the Lord, pray, discern. I would get a few things. If you ever listen to any of my videos about anything, then this time you have maybe 2 days. I hope there's stores open where you are. Around here they kind of closed because of the Easter, but I think they open again on Saturday here, so you got like 1 day. Go to the store, get candles, get food, make sure you got tape and something to cover up the windows with if you don't have big old curtains. Pray, anoint the house, find out where you have air vents, pray about them, pray to God about air vents too, because I think some those are going to be probably compromised too. Have a can opener. Remember, if you're going to have canned food, have the can opener, you know. Have fresh water to drink. And just remember, you can survive without food as long as you have water for several days. So if you can't get your hands on food, don't trip entirely. You're just going to have to fast through it. Get candles though. And make sure you got some toilet paper and all that, you know, like. And if you got kids and family, make sure you got enough food for them. And get a Bible. And watch this video, reference the verses that they talk to, highlight them in your book. There's Amos in there, there's Exodus in there, you know, the 3 days of darkness, you know, where he says, before when the wrath comes, let the farmer not run back to get his jacket, and let the man on the roof not be able to make it to his house. Anyways, the Spirit's telling me to round this off and shush it. Alright guys, praise and love to God, our King, glory eternal to Lord God, and may we love and adore Jesus Christ forever. Love you guys. Alright. I think this is going to be my last video until we see what happens. And then, hey, we'll see. Alright, bye.